Hey guys, Matt here, and in this video we're taking a look back at Halo 5 to not only figure out if it's as bad as I remember it being, but whether or not Halo 5 Guardians is the worst Halo game in the series. So dust off your armor, hunt the truth, and let's get into this. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that Halo 5's story wasn't what players were expecting, and one of the big contributors to this was the lack of payoff from marketing hype. Before Halo 5's release, the promotional materials for the game heavily marketed 5's story as a showdown between Master Chief and Spartan Locke, with the tagline "Hunt the Truth" plastered on every commercial. This marketing hinted at a complex narrative with intrigue, suggesting themes of betrayal and moral ambiguity, which filled my teenage brain with endless possibilities. Was Chief framed for something that caused the UNSC to hunt him down? Are we going to get something like Black Ops 2 where there's multiple endings and choices? Is Chief going to die? Well, the answer to those are no, no, and absolutely not. We didn't even get anything close to what the marketing portrayed. Instead, we received the dumbest reason for Locke hunting Chief, which was for disobeying a simple order, by the way, something that he's done before.
I am ordering you to surrender that AI! No, sir.
An AI rebellion that just sorta came out of left field, and a bunch of new underdeveloped characters to the series. When I first played the campaign, the only thoughts running through my head were, who are they? Who are they? When the hell did Buck become a Spartan? And what's happening? This brings us to another reason why Halo 5 story was so disliked, which was poor implementation and dependency on external media. Crucial context for understanding the plot and characters, such as events involving Blue Team or Cortana's fate, was contained in novels, comics, and animated series. Now, I'm not opposed to implementing things from other forms of media, but it has to be done in a well thought out and coherent way. Something Halo 5 dropped the ball on. In order to understand the story and characters, fans needed to read 3 books as well as a comic series, watch 2 Halo shows, see the added cutscene in MCC where Locke makes an appearance, and listen to a frickin' podcast. If you didn't do that, well, too bad. Guess the story wasn't meant for you, fan of the video games. AKA 99% of the Halo fan base. Oh shit, man. Did they really not realize how much this would isolate Halo's core fan base? Or did 343 just not care? Like, it's okay to expand upon the story and lore through other forms of media, but don't make it a homework assignment that's required to enjoy the thing I paid $60 for. Honestly, I could go on talking about the many other issues the story has. However, I think it's clear by now that even after going through the story again, my opinion hasn't changed. Halo 5 has the worst story in the series, and no game comes close. But maybe, just maybe, there's still hope in the campaign's levels and gameplay. Wow, that was really hard to keep a straight face saying that. Oh my god. Halo 5's levels lack any semblance of what made many entries in the series so fun to play. Early Halo games featured iconic moments and set pieces like the Silent Cartographer or Assault on the Control Room. But Halo 5 lacked similar impactful missions. The layout also didn't help, since 343 replaced the sandbox nature of previous games with very linear level design, which is why we got missions like Evacuation, a level where you spend most of the time riding an elevator while fighting off waves of Prometheans, and the rest of the time walking through a bland wasteland to get there. This type of layout is something I noticed with a lot of missions. The game relies too heavily on large combat arenas that force you into repetitive firefights that last way too long and have several moments where you're just standing there waiting for the next wave, which felt like a lazy attempt to artificially pad out the runtime. I could not believe the final mission ended with me sitting around a room waiting for enemies to spawn in. Though it does make sense why I forgot about it, just like how I forgot how many times they reused this boss fight. I think it was 7, by the way. Sorry if that's wrong. My brain's kinda fried from all the repetition. At the end of the day, repetition is the problem with 5's level design. From the enemy encounters to the art design, everything just feels samey. As for the gameplay and combat, well, I mean, at least it's better than 4's. For some reason, every weapon Prometheans use has some sort of lock-on system, which makes the addition of a dodge mechanic feel kinda useless. Though Promethean guns are more fun to use than in 4, and many of the guns operate as well as they did in previous entries. But Guardians suffers from Halo 4's lack of ammo, so I'm still scrounging around for ammo in the middle of firefights. I will say the ground pound mechanic was a pretty cool ability, however it doesn't give me the same amount of joy dual wielding did in Halo 2. All these issues paired with the janky AI companions that provide very little help creates a combo of garbage that solidifies Halo 5 as the worst campaign in the series. Despite the campaign being, well, not good, the soundtrack is easily the best of the games made by 343. I am not kidding when I say the campaign does not do these songs justice. For example, The Trials could have been a huge standout song, fully encapsulating some memorable moments players had. But instead it was used for chiefying waves of enemies while shooting out these things. My boy Marty may not have composed the soundtrack for 5, but Kazuma did a fantastic job of blending his own style with the orchestral elements of classic Halo, making for an impressive and high quality soundtrack that I personally love. Now that we've finished talking about the campaign and music, I think it's time to get right into the multiplayer. If you've seen some of my previous Halo videos, then it comes to no surprise that I didn't exactly play everything Halo 5's multiplayer had to offer. That being said, there were a few times the game was able to pull me away from Team Action Sack and custom games. Breakout was a really fun mode that had players duking it out across several rounds where they either kill all the opposing Spartans or capture the neutral flag. Each player had 1 life per round, and whichever team won 5 rounds wins the game. Yeah, unfortunately, this mode wasn't very popular. So in an attempt to bring more players over to Breakout, 343 refreshed the mode entirely with shotgun starts and new maps. But ultimately, this just pushed away the people who already liked the mode, myself and my friends included. But that brief moment in time before the update, loved it. It was so much fun. Warzone was another interesting addition, mixing PvP with PvE components, allowing for 2 opposing teams to fight for control of armories with AI Marines. There were also Covenant and Promethean enemies as well that you could take out for extra points. Warzone Assault was like an evolution of the classic BTB mode, and the inclusion of AI enemies as well as the large arsenal of weapons and vehicles really made every match feel more chaotic. So how did they screw this up? Warzone had a downside to it in the form of Halo 5's glorious rec cards. For those of you who don't know, rec cards are some of the rewards in Halo 5's loot box system, or as EA likes to call it, surprise mechanics.
Well, first, we don't call them loot boxes. I think that was
Whatever term
but-
you wish to apply
yeah,
to them, do you consider them ethical?
So what we look at as surprise mechanics.
These rec cards would give the players enhanced versions of several weapons and vehicles in the game, some of which were very busted, and that's putting it lightly. This little pay-to-win attempt didn't completely ruin the mode for me, but it definitely made some of the shootouts I had feel like I was fighting a losing battle. I still enjoyed the game mode though, just kinda sucks that that's in it. Oh, well, since we're on the topic of Warzone, I guess I should talk about this mess real quick. Oh boy, don't you just love when a studio completely ruins something you love? No! Ever since Reach, whenever we get a new version of Firefight, it just sucks. Even when they don't make a new Firefight, the co-op mode is still awful. Instead of the classic endless waves with satisfying pace, we get limited rounds with an unnecessary timer. None of the matches I played would last more than 18 minutes, and most of the time, the reason for that was because it would take forever to find some of the enemies which we'd inevitably destroy in a matter of seconds. I mean, come on, 343. The least you could have done was increase the difficulty, or the number of enemies that spawn in a single round. What makes this worse is the heavy use of rec cards, which makes the odds of you winning feel less about your skills and more about how much money you spend from mommy's credit card. After only a few rounds, everyone starts rocking these insane versions of vehicles, which makes even the somewhat challenging rounds easy as shit and boring. Not to mention the fact that it's pointless to be on foot, because everybody's just gonna take your kills. So you're gonna get no points just because you want to use a gun instead of a vehicle. I can see that they were trying to make something fun and fresh, but ultimately, I think we just need a return to the classic version. Not timed rounds with easy enemies, and definitely not this trash heap of ass they made for Halo Infinite. Alright, going back to the PvP side of things, I have to say that what I've played of the multiplayer was actually fun. But I would be lying if I said it was all sunshine and rainbows. For starters, the game is basically dead now, which won't affect my opinion on this. I mean, after all, it's on a dead console generation and it's how many years old? But after like 3 matches, Halo 5 actually froze on me. I can't believe it. My game just crashed. Are you kidding me? I don't think I've ever had an Xbox One game crash. Aside from that and Warzone Firefight, I don't really have any complaints. It was pretty fun. I got to play some of the content I missed out on, and there weren't as many things that frustrated me, like the loadout system in Halo 4 or Infinite's live service model. Ugh. So call me crazy, call me stupid, I don't really care. This is where I'm gonna place Halo 5's multiplayer. To answer one of the big questions of this video, and I'm gonna be honest, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Halo 5 is not as bad as I remember it being. Sure, the campaign stinks worse than my dog's breath, but I've grown a new appreciation for other aspects, like its multiplayer, weapon animations, and soundtrack. Okay, I know I didn't talk about weapon animations, but come on, look at the difference between Infinite and 5's. There's no debate on which one is better. As for whether or not 5 is the worst Halo game, that's kind of hard to say. If we judge each game on their life cycle, I'd say the title would have to go to Halo Infinite, because it was a game that many thought would be Halo's big return. But instead, we got delay after delay after delay for both content and the game itself, as well as several broken promises. Plus, the current state of Infinite is just bad. It's just bad. I know I made that video a while back saying how I thought Halo Infinite was on the right track, but it's a live service game, so things change. And after Season 5, it changed for the worst. I may have given Halo 5 a lot of shit over the years, as well as in this video, but with a game like Infinite in the series, I can't see myself placing 5 at the very bottom. So it'll have to go right there. And that's where I'll leave it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to let me know what you think of Halo 5 Guardians in the comments down below. And while you're here, why not consider subscribing? You know, just a suggestion. I'm trying to get back into uploading every 2 weeks, and I have a big project in the works that should be releasing before the end of this year. Hopefully. But anywho, I've been rezoraptor, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!